Let's compare the US to Russia. We will compare these two countries by the following 5 aspects. We will start with economy, followed by geography, military, social issues, and in the end we will talk about extra stuff. So let's start with the comparison. Economy. The US has a GDP of $20.95 trillion, while Russia has a GDP of $1.5 trillion. This makes the US being the country with the highest GDP in the world and Russia the 11th highest. GDP per capita is also higher in the USA than in Russia. While the USA ranks 12th in GDP per capita with $76,000, Russia is in 83rd place with only $12,600. Each year the United States exports $2.6 trillion of goods and imports in return $2.2 trillion. And so the US has a foreign trade balance of $0.2 trillion. Russia, on the other hand, exports only $547.741 billion and imports only $378.028 billion and thus has a foreign trade balance of $169.713 billion. Top exports from the United States are mineral fuels including oil, machinery including computers, electrical machinery and vehicles. While Russia's main export goods are also mineral fuels including oil, followed by gems and precious metals, steel and fertilizers. Number 2. Geography. Russia has a size of 17,100,000 square kilometers and is still the largest country in the world, while the US has a total area of 9,384,000 square kilometers and ranks 3rd place worldwide. Although Russia is larger than the US in terms of area, the population of the US is more than twice as large as that of Russia.
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
The US has approximately 333.4 million inhabitants while Russia has only 145.5 million inhabitants. The capital of the US is Washington, D.C., which has a size of 177 square kilometers and is home to 701,947 people. It is characterized by interesting buildings such as the Capitol, the White House, or well-known museums such as the Kennedy Center. Russia's capital, on the other hand, is Moscow. It has a size of 2,511 square kilometers and a population of 12.7 million inhabitants. In the historic city center is the Kremlin and the seat of the president. Number 3. Military. The Commander-in-Chief of the USA is the current President of the USA, Joe Biden. The Commander-in-Chief of Russia is also the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin.
Round 1. Fight!
The number of active soldiers in the USA is 1.39 million people, which is about 400,000 more active soldiers than in Russia. On the other hand, the number of reservists in Russia with 2 million participants is more than twice as high as in the USA. The share of soldiers in the total population is 0.6% in Russia and 0.46% in the USA. The defense-ready population in Russia comprises 46.7 million people. In the USA, on the other hand, with around 120 million people, there are more than twice as many as in Russia. In Russia, all men from the age of 18 are considered to be fit for defense, and in the USA, men and women between the ages of 15 and 49 are fit for defense. Now let's see who has the most firepower from the two states. With a total of 13,600 aircraft, the Air Force has 10,000 more aircraft than Russia. With 6,000 helicopters, the US Air Force also has 6 times as many as Russia. With 10 ships, the USA has by far the largest aircraft carrier fleet in the world. The newest ship is the George H.W. Bush. The Nimitz-class specimen was put into service in 2009. The Russians have only one bearer, Admiral Kuznetsov. Statistically, the Russians score points in the countryside. With 15,500 tanks, they have twice as much as the USA, but the number says nothing about the modernity or operational capability of the machines. So having a look at the power index score of these two countries, which tells you about the military strength of a country, we can definitely say that the USA wins in this area because it has a power index score of 0.0453 and Russia has a score of 0.0501. Number 4. Social issues. An important factor in this topic is the HDI. The Human Development Index provides information about life expectancy, level of education and per capita income. Russia has a HDI score of 0.821 and ranks place 52 worldwide, while the US has a score of 0.921 and is in 21st place globally. Life expectancy in Russia is 70.1 years, 8 years less than in the USA. On the other hand, the poverty line with 39.7 million people is 4 million people higher than in Russia. In the field of education, Americans also perform better than the Russians because approximately 2/3 of people in the USA have a school leaving certificate, and in Russia, on the other hand, it is only 54%.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Number 5. Extra stuff. Let's begin with the USA. Number 1. On the 4th in July 1776, the United States Declaration of Independence was proclaimed. Number 2. The 50 stars on the American flag represent the 50 states. Number 3. 1 in 8 Americans has ever worked at McDonald's. Number 4. 1 in 3 Americans is considered overweight. And last but not least, if you have 10 francs in your wallet and no debt, you are richer than 25% of Americans. Now let's get over to Russia. Number 1. Russia has a total of 11 different time zones. Number 2. Russia's country code is 007. Number 3. Studies have shown that around 50% of all police officers in Russia accept bribes. Number 4. With 700 seats, Russia houses the largest McDonald's restaurant in the world. And finally, Moscow has more billionaires in percentage terms than any other city in the world. So we're at the end of this country comparison. Don't forget to subscribe and to like this video for more videos like this.